So a few days ago, somebody sent me this website and asked if they could create this in Unicorn Studio. I was sure it was possible. I went and did a little video and tried some different ways and sent it back over. They just thought that I would make an official tutorial video because I think it helps explain some of the concepts of Unicorn Studio and how it works. So before we start, let's look at the effect. We have these cool furniture pictures, and when we hover over, we have this kind of splotchy overlay that has a subtle little ripple effect that you can kind of see if you look closely here. So we'll have to figure out how to do that, and let's just jump into it. So here we are in the studio. I already have one of these cool chairs in my image gallery here, so just need to find it. All right, here we go. We're going to do this by assembling a series of effects that will result in this interaction right here. Probably most of the effects in Unicorn Studio are animated, and most of them also have some interactive properties. So we're going to see how we can combine them to create that. Now, the first thing it looked like was this white overlay, which, we could do by adding a shape here, lowering the opacity, and using mouse tracking here. That would work pretty well. But if we wanted to add this kind of splotch effect, which would be called the FBM, fractal Brownian motion, the way that this works, it doesn't quite, have that same appearance where the distortion effect seems to be static while the layer underneath it moves around. So we can try, putting this on top here, but that is a scene effect. So you can see that this effect is at the top level and it's affecting everything underneath it, including the photo, which we don't want. So we're going to have to come up with a different way of building this effect. And I'm going to show you how. We're going to first draw a rectangle over top of the image. And as you saw, each layer, such as an image or a shape, can have child effects, where the effects only affect that layer. So I'm going to add a layer called a vignette on top of this shape. I actually want this to be white. This is sort of a vignette, like a photograph, but it's also really handy for, various interactive stuff as well. I'm going to turn the fall off down so it's a hard edge and turn the mouse tracking on so you can see that I have kind of that same effect. But now we can use the shape's blend mode function, and I'm going to just switch that to add. So now I've added that shape with the vignette on top of the background, which is just my image here. I can now lower the opacity here of the shape itself, and then I can apply more effects to it. So let's go back and apply that FBM again. Okay, so now you see that we have the FBM and the distortion doesn't move along with the white shape. So that's a lot closer to the effect that we were going for. And, there's a lot of different things I can do to play with here to get the effect closer to what we want. But, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be exact. I think we just want something that's it's good enough. Okay, so next is, if we go back and look, that slow kind of undulation effect looks like it's applied to everything. So we can just add a noise distortion, which you can see that is way too much. So a lot of these effects, not all of them today, but they will eventually have the ability to limit the distortion to a position, and that position can also be tracked to the mouse. So let's do that. And you can see I've got my distortion limited to the mouse movement. I can play it here so we can have it moving, and all we need to do now is just turn down the the amplitude here because it's actually quite a subtle effect. Make it really small here. So this is looking pretty close. Oh, you know what? We need to animate the FBM here. There we go. Okay, so, I think I'd be happy with that if I was trying to reproduce this effect. So if we want to export it, we can go over here, create the embed. And if you notice, it kind of is a little bit laggy behind the mouse here. So we can affect that too by turning up the mouse momentum. We'll just turn that all the way up. I hit publish and now it's available to preview. I could also use it in Framer or embed the code or just use an iframe too. So let's take a look at that. And here you go. We have our delayed kind of mouse movement here with that jaggedy overlay effect here. So I hope you found this video insightful and you learned a little bit about Unicorn Studio. There's going to be more to come. Thanks for checking it out.